to the show. It's a pleasure having you once again with us. And as we have a good friend of ours, Jean-Pierre Quentin. He is the Executive Director of the Centre Communautaire Régional de London. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Jorge. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's our pleasure having you with us. And Jean-Pierre, we are bringing you to our viewers because there's too many things that you have to offer, or more than you, the center. So we want to know, what is the center about? What is the Centre Communautaire Régional de London?
Okay, so it's an interesting question because a lot of people doesn't know about us. We've been here in London for more than 23 years now.
Oh.
Yes, actually, I think that our first activities started in 1994, actually, and we served since then the Francophone community in London. Many people doesn't know that we exist. We are located at 920 Euron Street in London, where the secondary French school is located.
Okay.
So, and we are really proud of our location. It's very central. We have transportation available right here, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, as you're going to see a few images as we are talking about the center and all the facilities. Really, really interesting. And more than that is knowing how many programs and services the center is providing. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, we have a lot. We started little, we started small, but now we are offering a vast variety of programs. So we have cultural programs, we have cultures actually programming where we bring some artists every year here in London, Francophone artists, to perform here in London. We have also sports activities where we are training trainers, Francophone trainers, to offer, let's say, sports in French. And I think that my manager will talk about it a little later. Yeah. And we have programs for immigrants. So it's a new one that we are offering right now. We have the Swiss workers here in London for the Francophone schools. Swiss workers is the acronym for Settlement Workers in School. Yeah. It's a fantastic program. They are welcoming the newcomers in our schools, and they are offering them some services to help them to integrate, let's say, in the schools.
Yeah, guidance, no?
Guidance and everything.
Understand
yes.
How to settle good.
Exactly, yes. And also we have the Carrefour Ethnoculturel, which is actually also a new project that is funded by the Trillium Foundation of Ontario. It's about, let's say, joining and helping the ethnocultural communities to get together and also to join the Francophone community. So we are very proud to have this new program as well. Finally, we are offering also before and after schools programs.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
My manager will be here, my coordinator actually will be here to talk about that a little later. This program is offered in all the elementary schools across London. Yeah. So we are really proud to have that as well. And finally, this ESCAL program, because this is the name of the program, offers each year a summer camp in French in the region, and it's very popular, and each year actually it's full. So yes, and it started actually very soon, so my coordinator will talk to you about that. You have to register soon because the places are going fast.
You better take note right now as I'm calling here, because we know that normally it gets full long before they start.
Oh yes,
no?
long before actually. I would say that a month before the camp is starting, it's full. We are booked, and unfortunately, we cannot take more than 90 to 100 kids during the summer.
By the way, talking about that, Jean-Pierre, behind camera, we were talking about the possibility to have more volunteers.
Yes.
French speakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is really important as well, because we are in need actually of volunteers. We are here to serve the community, the Francophone community, but the Francophile community as well. So we have a lot of, let's say, students registered in the French immersion schools, and we are here also to offer some services to them. They are more than welcome to come to our center and to benefit from our programs.
Okay, thank you very much, Jean-Pierre.
Well, thanks to you, and I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. We're going to go for a small break, and when we come back, we're going to continue at the Centre Communautaire Régional de London. We'll be back in one moment.
Thank you.
Once again in our show, The Law, in our segment with Ed Corrigan. Welcome to our show, Ed.
My pleasure, Jorge.
Okay, last week we were talking about a little bit, we touched a little bit what Trump was going around and immigration, what was going on in Canada. So now that Trump has been doing a little bit of backup and returning to all his intentions. What's your opinion about that?
Well, the first executive order that Trump made was ruled unconstitutional by 5 different federal court judges on various actions, including a court of appeal. So then he went back to the drawing board and he came forward with a much better executive order that, for example, didn't prohibit people who were like permanent residents, had a green card, and they had permanent status in the United States, yet he was saying they couldn't come into the country because they were from, Libya, Iraq, Iran, or
because of the country.
But they're permanent residents in the United States, and they may have had a wife and 3 kids, and people with jobs, and people who were even foreign professors were in the middle of their term teaching courses, and the government wasn't letting them in. So that's why the states sued him, because it was unreasonable interference with their right to provide education to the students, not only the foreign students that came in, but also the foreign professors. And a lot of people, you left the airport and got on the plane and everything was fine, and then during the course of the flight, all of a sudden they yanked your visa and they wouldn't let you in the country, even though you had passed all the checks and security. So the second attempt, he got rid of some of those problems. Now there's notice and they're doing extreme vetting, as he calls, but there still is an attempt to prevent refugees from coming from there. But they also dropped Iraq from the list, but they still have the 6 other countries that were on there. So from Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Sudan, Iran, and I think there's one other country that is on the list too. So it still is this anti-Muslim message behind the whole thing, which of course he announced he was going to do this, but you can't say, I'm sorry, we're not going to let Jews come into the country, because that's clearly anti-Semitic and racist. You can't say Christians or Catholics, or you can't do the same for Muslims. Either you recognize, people have the right to choose their own religion, and we respect that, and there's a great history in the United States of religious toleration. In fact, many of the people who migrated to the United States were themselves fleeing religious persecution. So now the new order still has been declared unconstitutional by several judges. One judge said it was okay, a couple other judges said no, but right now there still is a statewide bar on the second executive order. The judge in Hawaii has extended the order so it's prohibited from the entire United States. So it's better, but there still is this sort of anti-Muslim animus behind the whole thing. And in response to what Trump was doing, a lot of cities in the United States declared themselves sanctuary cities and ordered immigration, ICE immigration, customs enforcement, and other homeland security that they couldn't come in and search people, and they declared that their city would be a sanctuary, and so they gave instructions to their city employees, the city police, and things like that, not to cooperate with the immigration authorities. So there's this huge conflict. And then Trump was saying, well, we're going to punish people. We're going to remove the federal funding from the city, and now I think Seattle's suing Trump. So it's a big legal mess, and it's sort of like a dog's breakfast, as the saying goes. But right now, it's the second piece of legislation, stands a much better chance of being legally declared. But you can't just sort of, prohibit Muslims from coming into the country from 6 countries. And what one of the federal court judges pointed out, I said, well, since 9/11, there hasn't been a single incident of terrorism from anybody from these countries. Zero.
The statistics are completely
so
zero.
He's making it's entirely fabricated. Oh, these guys are a threat to us. But what is consistent is that the United States is attacking these countries. Okay, they're interfering in Syria, interfering in Iraq, interfering in Somalia, interfering in Yemen, Sudan.
With the title, "We're helping."
Well, they say regime change, but when you're killing hundreds of people and attacking mosques and destroying bridges, the Americans recently were supposedly launched a bombing attack on one of the key dams on the Euphrates River and think it's going to collapse. So why would the Americans bomb a dam? It's not, and they killed the people that were trying to fix the problem too. There's 2 experts went there to try to fix it, and they both got killed. This is, either you're incredibly stupid or you're just lying and say we're after to destroy the infrastructure to punish these countries. And in Syria, the United States troops, the Syrian army was advancing on the so-called capital of the Islamic Caliphate, or ISIS, in Raqqa. But the Americans went and put themselves in between the Syrian army and the city to prevent the Syrian army from moving forward and capturing the city. Why would they do that? Why are they protecting ISIS? What are they afraid of? But people think they're going to try to still partition the country. But if the Americans are really fighting ISIS and Islamic terrorism, they should be cooperating with the Syrian government and the Russian government, and bring this to a speedy close with the intention of protecting civilians.
But this is happening for a very long time, not only in Syria.
But it's getting worse now. The last couple of weeks with Trump, there's been an increase, given the CIA carte blanche that they can go just do these drone strikes and bomb people. There are maybe 1,000 people have been killed in the last week or so in Mosul alone. And the Americans bombed the mosque in Syria. And there was a boatload of refugees that were fleeing from Yemen to go to Somalia, and they were attacked by an Apache gunship, which is made in America. And they killed like close to 50 people right there in this boat, and they had to flash their flashlights to show, hey, we're just refugees and we're not not smuggling arms. And they were leaving Yemen to go to Sudan, and that was but again, over 40 people were killed. And so you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of people that are being killed just in the last week or so, and this is a problem. But there's been a backlash in the United States, where many cities have been declaring themselves sanctuary. They're going to try to protect refugees and migrants, not just summarily deport them and give them without any sort of legal due process. And the same thing is occurring in Canada to a lesser extent. London, Ontario, for example, declared itself, it had a motion, to declare themselves a sanctuary city, so they would provide as much assistance as they could within their legal competence to migrants and refugees and people fleeing. And then we see the prospect of people fleeing the United States and walking through fields and getting frostbite, even at the risk of losing fingers and stuff, to get away from the situation. And almost every day now, our office is getting a call from somebody in the States that's desperate to get out, or doesn't like the environment, and is looking for...
They're afraid.
They're afraid. And the other irony is that the migrants were picking this fruit and stuff in Georgia and other places. Now they're afraid to go to work, because I think the whole process has not really been thought through. Yes, we don't need illegal immigrants coming here. We don't need, but the United States is very much dependent upon the 10 or 11 million people who are illegally in the United States. And there's a fair number of Canadians in the States too, that are work there, that are married, that have houses, but don't have the means to get themselves some sort of legal basis. And and 6 months goes, you fall in love with somebody, you stay there, whatever, and next thing you know, you end up your life. And the Canadians can kind of blend in easily, but the Mexicans and people who are Hispanic, they can't blend in as easily. And that's this is a problem. But they got to think it through, and they got to have some sort of fair system that treats people who have been in the States for 20 years. They got 3 kids, they own businesses, they employ Americans. How do you deal with these people? They've never committed a crime, but they want to have a much better life for their children and their families, so they flee a place like Mexico, which is
their effort to the country,
and they're paying taxes. They're doing a lot of good things. And they say, oh, they're all rapists and murderers and stuff. Actually, the stats show that the migrants coming into the country have a much lower crime rate than the Americans do.
We continue our show, and with us now we have George Perez, a good friend of ours. Welcome to our show, George.
Thank you, Jorge. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. George, as I said, is a long-time friend of Top Events and myself. And today he has a lot of surprises. That it's a festival coming, no?
Yes, Mexican Fiesta, Fiesta London Mexican Festival coming up.
Fiesta London. Once again, how many years been in producing that festival?
Well, we started in 2009 at the Museum London, so it was an indoors event. But then we have been in the market probably 5-6 years already. So it's going to be the 6th year here in the market.
Okay, 6 times. So it's been growing, no?
A lot of people coming up. I believe people are finding that this is a good event to kick off the festival season in London. And something that we love is to have a great show. Our motto is we bring Mexico to downtown London.
Mexico, and not only Mexico, the entertainment is mostly Mexican.
Yes.
But there's every single culture from the Hispanic community is participating as a vendor or
food,
yeah.
Or people. You're right. When I am the MC as well. When I call out to people to see where they're coming from, we have all the countries represented in that particular day. So you're right. So we celebrate the Latin American way of life, the contributions we bring to the city. And our excuse is to bring Mexico to downtown London. The shows, we have the mariachi band, for example, folklore dancers. This year again, we are bringing Aztec dancers, for example. That's something new. That's going to be cool to see. And people love the show. We have the piñatas, and people love it. Chihuahua Dog Parade.
Okay. So this year we're going to have a Chihuahua Dog Parade.
If you guys are watching this program, you have a Chihuahua, you are proud owner of this little fascinating animal, pet, dog, please come, register, visit the website, fiestalondon.ca, and register your dog. Last time we had around, I would say, 30 Chihuahua dogs, and the owners are very proud. I have never seen such a proud owner. All right, the Chihuahuas dogs are amazing dog owners.
Okay, George, how long from at what time start the show, and where is exactly the location? So we know it's Covent Garden Market, but what time, and it's going to be outside, it's going to be...
Great question. We meet, we call the square at the Covent Garden Market, King and Talbot Street, downtown London. We pack this with vendors. We have a great stage, food section as well, and we have benches for people to come and sit. And it's going to run from 11 a.m. in the morning until 7 p.m. And Jorge, this is a non-stop event. That means we start at 11, and there is always going on
something.
Every time. Something going on.
Something going on. Okay, as George says, food, amazing Latin American food, entertainment, all what you want, even for kids. What's happening for kids?
Well, every time we have Fiesta London, we think about the kids. So we have 2 special things going on. The first one is the piñata party. So we break around 4 or 5 piñatas during the day, according to the age groups, obviously. Kids are fascinated to participate in this. They try to break it, they collect the candies, they love it. Also, the folklore. Let me tell you that when kids see these folklore dancers, they are amazed to see the strength, the energy, and the passion of these people coming up. And also, we will have a special booth where people will come, the kids especially, of course, and have some crafts done, some painting, and they will have fun to be at Fiesta London. And let me tell you, most of the kids going to festivals, they are in and out. They don't want to be there. But in Fiesta London, they want to spend hours, and stay hours and hours. So the parents also have time to enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, and also for all our viewers that are not Latino, they don't know very much about the Latino community. The piñata is something that is a really something that is really from the Latino community. All Latin America celebrate the children's parties with piñatas. So the piñatas are filled out with candies and toys and little things, and they break the piñata. And then they try to get as much as they can, and it's a very, very funny and enjoyable thing for the kids.
And a lot of people ask me, why Mexico? And I said, who hasn't tried a burrito? Or eating a taco. Well, a lot of people have been in Mexico, right? Cancun, Acapulco, Puerto Vallarta. People love Mexican culture, and I believe it's very appealing, and it's one of the best cultural attractions around the world. So you don't have a chance to go to Mexico for a reason. We bring Mexico to you.
Okay, mariachis.
Yes, we have a spectacular mariachi band. Now, a mariachi band consists in at least 7 elements, and needs to include a trumpet, of course, and the violin, the bass, the big guitar, guitarrón is called, and several guitars. So we bring that group to you guys. Yeah, great music.
Okay, there you go. Again, the day,
It's going to be June 4th. It's a Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can visit fiestalondon.ca for the full schedule and be ready to spend here several hours because you don't want to miss anything.
June 4th, so it's coming soon, so don't miss it. We are going to be here following everything that is happening too. So thank you very much, George.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, because you are bringing something very, very appealing, very interesting for the community, and very that is really from our Latin America
and
culture.
That shows and celebrates the Hispanic or Latin American contributions to the city. And by the way, we are celebrating, we are part of the celebration of Canada 150, and in this case in particular, Ontario 150 celebration. So I will tell you a secret, this is going to be a premiere for you guys.
Between you and I.
Yes, we are giving away 150 piñatas.
Okay, there you go.
Handmade.
150 piñatas.
Yes, handmade.
Okay.
You don't want to miss it.
So you don't want to miss it. So we expect you here at the Covent Garden Market. We're recording right now, and enjoy and participate in all the activities that Fiesta London is having for you this year. June the 4th, 11 in the morning, and ready for partying till 7 p.m.
Yes.
Thank you, George.
Gracias.
A pleasure. So we'll be going for a small break, and when we come back, we continue in our show.